What if I told you that in the heart of West Africa, a young leader just rewrote the destiny of his nation? What if I told you that in a single stroke, he created tens of thousands of jobs, challenged global powers, and placed his country at the center of a new golden era? This is not fiction. This is the story of Ibrahim Traoré, the soldier turned head of state who is defying the odds, defying history, and defying the very system that has drained Africa's wealth for centuries. Burkina Faso, a land often spoken of for its struggles, its poverty, its battles with insecurity. But beneath its soil lies something extraordinary. Veins of gold that for decades flowed outward, enriching distant nations while leaving the Burkinabe people in hardship. For years the model was the same. Dig the gold, ship it raw. Watch it vanish into the vaults and markets of Europe. While at home, schools crumbled, hospitals lacked medicine, and families lived in scarcity. But now a new chapter begins. When Ibrahim Traoré came to power, many wondered if he would survive the storms of politics, the pressures from abroad, the threats at home. But instead of bowing, he rose. Instead of bending, he built, and his boldest creation yet is more than a refinery. It is a revolution. In the heart of Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, rises a project like no other. A refinery capable of processing 150 tons of gold every year. That's 400 kilograms every single day. And it's not just steel and concrete. It is the heartbeat of a new vision. But let's step back for a moment. Because to understand why this matters, we must walk through history's shadows. For centuries, Africa's story has been one of extraction, of resources flowing outward, leaving emptiness behind. From the time of empires, when gold caravans crossed the Sahara, to the colonial era, when European powers carved the continent like a feast, to the modern age, where multinational corporations carry away billions while villages remain in darkness. Burkina Faso was no exception. Its gold, some of the purest on earth, traveled silently across borders, often unrecorded, often smuggled, almost always unrefined. Switzerland became the great refiner, Europe became the great seller, and Burkina Faso became the forgotten source. But Traoré looked at this pattern and said, "No more. This refinery is not just a building. It is a declaration of independence. It says to the world, if you want our gold, you will meet us on our terms." And for the first time, Burkinabe gold will carry the stamp. Made in Burkina Faso? Imagine the symbolism. A gold bar once stripped of its identity, now proudly bearing the mark of a nation that refuses to be invisible. Workers, once excluded from the chain of value, now standing at its very center. Families once left behind, now lifted by new wages, new skills, new opportunities. This is the dawn of something greater. But it is also a battle, because the world does not surrender its privileges easily. The old powers are watching, nervous, calculating. Some whisper warnings, some threaten withdrawal. Others spread stories of instability, corruption, fear. But Traoré stands firm. His words echo with a clarity rare in modern politics. Africa must rise. Africa must own its wealth. Africa must write its own destiny. And in Burkina Faso, destiny is now being forged in fire and steel and in the shimmering glow of molten gold. The refinery does more than refine. It expands. It transforms. Beside it will stand a jewelry manufacturing center, where artisans shape not only ornaments but symbols of national pride. A trading floor where Burkinabe gold is priced, sold, and exported with transparency. And the headquarters of a new national agency, tasked with ensuring that never again will the nation's wealth slip quietly into the night. Each of these pieces forms a puzzle of sovereignty, a puzzle of dignity, a puzzle of hope. And behind each piece stand the people, more than 10,000 Burkinabes whose lives are already changing. Think of the driver who once struggled to find steady work, now delivering supplies to the site each morning. Think of the young student who once doubted whether education mattered, now training as a metallurgist, dreaming of shaping the nation's future. Think of the mother, who once worried her children would have to leave to find opportunities, now watching as jobs multiply at home. This is not charity. It is not aid. It is the fruit of vision, discipline, and courage. And this is only the beginning. The refinery may be the crown jewel, but its impact radiates far beyond the walls of steel and stone. Because every job created, there sparks another. Every wage earned fuels a market. Every new skill acquired builds a foundation for the future. Directly, 100 workers will keep the machines running, the process is smooth, the gold pure. Indirectly, thousands more will drive trucks, provide security, repair equipment, supply food, teach skills. And with each new role, a family finds stability. A community finds growth. A nation finds strength. But the true genius of Traoré's vision lies not only in the numbers, it lies in the transformation of people. Young men who once sought uncertain futures in foreign lands now see purpose at home. Young women who once faced limited horizons now step into laboratories, offices, and workshops, shaping industries once closed to them. And artisans, miners, engineers alike are bound together by a common thread, that the wealth of Burkina Faso belongs first to Burkinabes. Consider this. Until now, 95% of Burkina Faso's gold left the country raw, unprocessed, carrying away billions in value. Most of it traveled to Switzerland, where it was refined, branded, and sold for profits that dwarfed anything left behind. But that era has ended. Traoré's government has suspended raw gold exports, enforced local refining, and cracked down on smuggling. The result is monumental. Burkina Faso now captures up to 40% more value from its own resources. On $18 billion of gold, that means as much as $7 billion stays at home. $7 billion. Imagine what that means. Roads no longer broken but rebuilt. Schools with books and teachers. Hospitals with medicine and power. Farmers with irrigation, traders with markets, families with hope. And with each new investment, confidence grows. The people see that their sacrifices, their resilience, their belief in a better tomorrow are not in vain. But this refinery is not merely economics. It is politics, strategy, and symbolism. Across West Africa, neighbors watch closely. In Mali, in Niger, in Ghana, leaders study Traoré's model. They see the alliance of Sahel states rising, a union of nations refusing to be mere exporters of raw materials, choosing instead to keep the heart of their wealth at home. At regional summits, the message grows louder. If Africa is to rise, Africa must control its resources. If Africa is to prosper, it must break the chains of dependency. And Burkina Faso has lit the torch. Of course, not everyone applauds. Western corporations worry about shrinking margins. Foreign governments worry about losing influence. Media outlets cast doubt, whispering of instability, of risk, of danger. But the Burkinabe leader answers with quiet steel. If you want our gold, you must invest in our future. And that is the heart of this story. It is not isolation. It is partnership on equal terms. It is not rejection. It is negotiation from a position of dignity. Still, challenges remain. Burkina Faso is not free from struggle. Security threats in gold-rich regions demand vigilance. Infrastructure requires expansion. Bureaucracies need reform. And international pressure remains heavy. Yet even in this storm, Traoré pushes forward. He invests in security forces to guard both people and minds. He funds community development to ensure that prosperity touches those who live closest to the resources. He opens training centers so that Burkinabes can master the science, the technology, the craft of refining. His goal is ambitious. Within 5 years, 100% of Burkina Faso's gold will be processed domestically, not 1 ounce leaving unrefined. And beyond gold, other resources, cotton, manganese, zinc, will follow the same path. Imagine that future, an Africa where raw materials are no longer shipped away in silence. An Africa where finished products, branded proudly with African names, command respect on world markets. An Africa where jobs and dignity flourish not abroad, but at home. This refinery, though only one project, is a seed of that vision. A symbol of what is possible when courage meets strategy, when leadership meets opportunity. And for the Burkinabe people, it is more than economics. It is pride. It is identity. It is the belief that their nation, so often underestimated, can stand tall on the world stage. Picture the scene. A worker steps into the refinery at dawn, greeted by the hum of machines, the glow of molten metal, the knowledge that his labor is shaping history. A family gathers at night, children sharing stories of how their father or mother is part of the great project. A nation once known for hardship, now known for resilience and innovation. This is not just about gold. It is about rewriting the very story of a people. And so, as the world watches, Burkina Faso walks forward, not with hesitation but with boldness, not as a victim of history but as an author of its future. Ibrahim Traoré's gold refinery is more than stone and steel. It is a beacon, a signal that Africa will no longer be content with crumbs, no longer accept invisibility, no longer bow to the weight of old systems. 10,000 jobs. Billions retained. Pride restored. And as the furnaces burn and the gold flows, one truth becomes clear. The future of Africa will not be given. It will be forged. Forged in the heat of courage, forged in the fire of determination, forged in the hands of its own people. Burkina Faso has made its stand. The question now is, who will follow?